Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, readers of all persuasions. It is I, Gayla, and welcome back to Book Uncorked and Caffeinated. And today we're going to talk about 10 books that'll be loved by me. Ironically, I think they're all Black women authors, which is super cool because when I was gathering these books, that was not my intention. But these are the books that tugged at my heart, my brain, and really remain books that I will love and probably read moving forward. The first book that I want to talk about is The Year of the Yes. Now, this book I didn't read this year. I read this many years ago, probably when maybe the first or second year it came out. The Year of the Yes by Sandra Rhimes. And she talks about in this book how she was missing out on life because she always said no to things. And there's reasons why of her saying no to things, but she decided that she was going to spend a year saying yes to things she wouldn't normally do so. And it wasn't to the end of the book when she talked about still saying no to some things because she had to protect her spirit, her mind, and her heart. And how no is a complete sentence, and how sometimes Black women tend to compensate because we're always saying yes. But she was like, no, you can say yes, but you can still say no. And that was like an aha moment for me. And so this year, I was able to see her at a talk at the 92nd Street Y here in New York. This is the 10th anniversary edition. Woo, woo, woo. And she added 7 new chapters. So I'm so stoked about reading this. I'm going to read it in its entirety. I want to read what she's already wrote so I can remember and then continue on with the 7 new chapters. So that's book 1. That is so beloved to me. Book 2, Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop. I love this book. He is like the best book boyfriend. He did all the things for her. The thing that got me, if you read this book, and this is a bit of a spoiler, she needed to get away from the noise, and he rented a yacht for the day so she could just read, and then he was going to read with her. What's she supposed to do with that, right? But she also was attending the wedding of her sister, who was marrying her ex, who was also the best friend of Rome. Yo, this book is out. This is crazy. But unfortunately, I love this cover the best. But the new mass make cover is this one, and when the next part of the series come out is going to be the aesthetic of this. So I wanted to look the same, but I had to get this cover because I think this is so gorgeous. The third book is by A.H. Cunningham, Miss V's Hot Girl Summer. Miss V is a middle-aged woman that is getting all her rocks off this summer. This is kind of like How Stella Got Her Groove Back, part 2. The third book is Losing Sight by Tati Richardson. This was a great book. This was about a middle-aged woman, magical realism, losing her sight or gaining sight in other things, but other things was love. I think this was an awesome story. Middle-aged women being seen. And I heard, I'm not quite sure, but I heard that she's going to be doing something with all the senses. So that would be good to see how that pans out. So that's book 4. Book 5 is Behind the Scenes with Christina C. Jones. At the time of reading this, Christina C. Jones was not a new author to me, but she is an auto-buy author for me now that I know who she is. This FMC comes from a prominent family. The MMC is the orphan of this, I guess, respected big screen royalty, and they were just trying to figure out what love means for them and not all the things and the noise that they hear. That's book number 5. Book number 6 was Harlem Rhapsody by Victoria Christopher Murray. She's known for co-writing The Personal Librarian, but she's also written other books under her own name, and she's continuing to write. And this book was about Jesse Rodman Fawcett. If we had a godfather of the Harlem Renaissance, she was the godmother of the Harlem Renaissance. She's known for cultivating and bringing about Langston Hughes. She did a lot of great work. Unfortunately, her story was overshadowed by her affair with W.E.B. Du Bois. And but this was a great book. Whether you liked it or not, whether you felt like certain things was overshadowed her story, this was really a good book. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 is Layla Motley, The Girls Who Grew Big. This author also did The Nightcrawlers. I have that book. I want to say that I did complete it, but it was so many years ago, I probably need to reread it. This was a great book. This was about young women who were outcast by society and their families. They were teenage mothers, and they kind of held each other up when needed the best. So yeah, that was this book. It was really good. It was set in Florida, which took my interest because I went to school in Florida. So I wanted to see how that was going to play an effect in the book. And there were some things that I noticed. Book 8, Plus Size Player by Danielle Allen. Actually, 8 and 9 by Danielle Allen, Curvy Girl Summer. So the first one was Curvy Girl Summer, about a plus size girl who was getting ridiculed by her family about being plus size, being over 30, not being married, not having a kid, all the things. So she went on this challenge to find a boyfriend before her 30th birthday, I believe, so that her family will leave her the hell alone. Super spicy. And then that was followed up by Plus Size Player. This was awesome. This was the flip. This was about a young lady who was plus size that was playing the field and not men playing her, but her playing men. But of course, the man has shown up, and he's taking care of all the things she needed with her heart, her mind, and her soul. And so, Plus Size Player Danielle Allen. And Danielle Allen is a hoot. A real hoot. So is I meant to say that. So is Victoria Christopher Murray. She did a tour in this book. She started with the Schomburg Museum, of course, in New York and Harlem. And she also came to one of my book club meetings. And she's a hoot. She's funny. She's down to earth. And Danielle Allen's a mess. I can see her and I hanging out. She is the girl. If you don't follow her on the socials, please follow her. She's super, super cool. And the last and final book, book number 10, which is not the last book, the beloved, beloved, beloved book, is Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. What can I say? I say this all the time. This is my favorite of the 3 books. I know this got mixed reviews, but I loved it. I'll say it and I'll say it again. And I was screaming from the rooftops. I love this book. This book mimicked my life more so than not. Plus size woman, alpha woman, top of her game, rich auntie vibes, all the things, searching for love. And so I identify with this book the most out of the series. But all of them I love. They were all 5-star reads, but this is my favorite. And then ironically, my favorite color is purple. And then it came out on my birthday. So I feel like it was in the stars for it to be one of the beloved books. But those are my 10 beloved books that I read. Most of them I read this year. But yeah, these are books that I would read again. These are books that I will always suggest. I always suggest women to read The Year of the Yes. I also suggest The Year of the Rest to clients. Because it just gives you permission to be free. And you should always feel like you have permission to be free. So that's it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Those are my 10 beloved books. And drop down in the chat a book stat and which one of these books that you loved, or if they're one of your beloved books. Anywho, enjoy your reading. I'm going to drink me some tea. It's nighttime, and so I'll do all of the things. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Deuces. Bye.